Hey everybody. So I said I'd do another video for another John Scalzi series that I really like. This one is complete, and I liked this one a lot. I I prefer the interdependency if I'm honest, but this one's solid. This one's really good, and it's called Old Man's War. It's the name of the series, and it's the name of the first book in the series. From there, the names it's the Ghost Brigade, Zoe's Tale, the Final Empire, something like that. There's I believe 5 books. Excuse me. I believe there's 5 books in the series. But honestly, the first book kind of stands alone. So you don't. I say stands alone. You do need it to read the sequels. But when you finish the first one, if I told you there were no more sequels, it would not shock you. You'd be like, well, okay, done. Old Man's War, despite being written fairly recently, absolutely feels like old school sci-fi, like 70s science fiction, which is a particular brand of sci-fi novels. They have a different feel to them. There's a heavy focus on the special technologies informing the characters, as opposed to today where things are more character driven. And I'm not saying either one is better than the other. They are just different. They're a different feel. They have a different texture, whatever artsy term you want to use. So it was interesting for that point. The opening premise behind Old Man's War is, so we've got Earth, and humanity has colonized some other planets, but there is a military force that's basically in charge of everything that's not Earth. It's in charge of all colonies. It's in charge of all contact with other alien races. The idea being it exists to protect Earth. Earth doesn't have to worry about anything. We've got all of this space stuff handled. And actually getting to leave Earth is not an easy thing to do, because it turns out there's a lot of alien forces out there, and habitable planets are kind of at a premium. There's only so many worlds that are perfect for supporting life, and it turns out everybody has sort of the same life requirements for the most part. So there's kind of a constant intergalactic war going on for real estate. Constantly fighting for, I need that land, let's wipe them out and we can settle there. Because all of these populations need to expand, they need to grow. So this outer space military just says, you know what, Earth, we got this, we're going to handle everything, you just sit down there. One guaranteed way to get out is to sign up. It's basically kind of a retirement plan. You sign up on like your 70th birthday, and when you turn 75, you join the army. Which is why it's called Old Man's War. I'm going to spoil a little bit, just the opening, the basic premise. And then we'll talk in non-spoiler terms about the rest of the series. But so they basically are able to grow new perfect bodies for all of these old people and transfer their consciousness into them. It's not grandpa going to war with a minigun. They genetically engineer perfect bodies. They're green partially because, now they're in an army and it's a uniform, but they also can absorb sunlight for energy. They can go long periods of time without breathing. They have perfect vision. They've got a computer implanted in their head that they can access and communicate with each other and all of this stuff. And the first book is really about the life of a soldier who joins this program. He's 75 and he signs up for this program, and we see him go to war and learn a little bit more about the universe. And it's really good. It feels like old school sci-fi, just a description of these wars and the technology that's being used and the politics going on. And then I found out it was a series. So the story continues, and you start to learn more about the politics of the situation and what's going on behind the scenes. and what needs to be done about it. And then the series does one of my favorite things. And you'll have to forgive me, it's been a few minutes since I've read the thing. It's either the third, I think it's the third book that does something interesting. So the first two books tell a story, and then the third book, and it might be the fourth, I think it's the third book, goes back and tells most of that story again, but from a different character's point of view. And it's significant, and it changes things. And I always, always love the concept of the same story through a different set of eyes is a different story. So I don't want to get into too much more detail. I really want you to explore this series for yourself. I recommend it. I recommend the Interdependency more, but I do recommend the Old Man's War series by John Scalzi. Go check it out. I believe you'll be happy you did. I'll see you guys around.